Hey guys, welcome to the captivating world of second language acquisition. Today we are going to explore fascinating aspects of language learning that has often been overlooked: emotions. Did you know that how we feel can greatly impact our language learning achievements? It's true. No one wants to write an English essay when they are heartbroken over a breakup, for example, right? Grief can really take your heart out of studying. But for a long time, people didn't fully understand the significance of emotions in the learning process. In the early days of China, the educational community's attention to emotions could be characterized as minimal, and it is interesting to note that foreign countries have only recently begun to pay attention to the issues of the impact of emotions on learning too. In 1998, there was an academic conference held in the United States with the theme "The Role of Emotions in Students' Learning and Achievement." It was a groundbreaking event that highlighted the powerful connection between emotions and learning. However, it took some time for this understanding to spread across the globe. In 2001, China implements a curriculum reform that emphasized the importance of students' emotions in addition to their knowledge and abilities. This marks a significant step for China in recognizing the role of emotions in the education. This is the background of emotions research in China. Now, let's get back to the emotions themselves. Have you ever felt frustrated or discouraged while trying to learn a new language? And have you ever felt happy and excited when you perceive that you have achieved something new? You're not alone. Second language acquisition is a fantastic adventure in which one is destined to experience a wide variety of emotional landscapes. So, do these emotions affect our language learning? The answer is a definite yes. Today, we are going to focus primarily on positive emotions. Positive emotions such as joy, enthusiasm, and curiosity can actually have profound impact on how well we learn. And positive psychology, which was introduced to China in 2002, investigates the characteristics that enable individuals and communities to thrive, and it reveals the importance of positive emotions in learning. When we experience a positive emotions while learning a second language, our motivation soars, our engagement increases, and our cognitive abilities are amplified. It's like having a superpower for learning. Therefore, it is crucial to explore the role of positive emotions in Chinese L2 learning and to develop strategies to enhance these emotions in learners. So next, let's dive into the positive emotions.
What exactly are positive emotions? You may be thinking, is that even worth discussing? So look at this example. Let's say you are trying to convince me that these apples are tasty, but you think sour apples are good and I think sweet apples are good, and sour apples are not good at all. Unfortunately, your sales pitch failed, and that's because you and I have different definition of tasty. If we don't know what positive emotions are, we can't make them work. For example, I mistakenly made you feel excited when it is clear that enjoyment is a positive emotion that makes you feel good in learning process. So what will happen? I don't think excited make for good learning experience because it fills your head with crazy ideas. Look at this girl. Now you can see the importance of accurate definition. Again, you may question, is it so hard to define? Well, take a step at defining it. What do you consider the positive emotion is? I'm guessing you'll list many kinds of positive emotion, such as happiness, enthusiasm, enjoyment like this. These are correct, but not comprehensive. For example, do you think surprise is a positive emotion? A teacher surprises you with a question you haven't even prepared for in the exam. Does that little surprise really give you a positive emotion? Does calmness count? Do you really feel good when you sit down in front of your computer and write your 2,000-word literature review without expression? You may have noticed the problem. There is always a problem with listing definition, incomplete and imprecise. You can't be sure that you've listed all the positive emotion, and you can't be sure that the ones you've included are really positive. For instance, if you are telling an alien with a fruit what the fruit is, you are always going to run into the problem of not being able to list them all, or the problem of whether a tomato is a vegetable or a fruit. This is exactly the problem that scholars in the field of emotion research often face when it comes to definitions. Because of the need of study how positive emotions affect learning, a large number of scholars have chosen empirical study to measure positive emotion. For example, among scholars, Dewell and McIntyre focus on a subset of positive emotions as enjoyment, and McIntyre attempt to carve positive emotion into a set of 10 related individual emotions. We and others focus on a subset of positive emotion, perseverance. You might flip the table. What kind of definition is that? How is it different from saying that fruit is apple, bananas, oranges? It looked like listing definition won't work. So let's give up. Wait a minute, we still have two more paths to choose from: inverse method of deduction and induction. If there are positive emotions, there must be negative emotion. Perhaps we can define positive emotions by defining negative emotion, or by explaining the relationship between positive and negative. Just as we can define darkness as a place where light cannot shine, or drought as a place where there is no water. There is not something we make up. The author of positive emotion had already presented a counterfactual in her definition. The concept of positive emotion began in 2012 based on Fredrickson, Broden, and Bill's theory. So let's see how Fredrickson defined positive emotions. She said lots of words that emphasize positive emotion can mitigate negative emotion. McIntyre further states in 2012 that positive emotions have a different function than negative emotion and can promote resourcefulness and happiness. Bingo! Thus, we get the initial role of positive emotion, the ability to somewhat dissipate negative emotions. This is true when you think about it. For example, when we have to take bitter medicine and brought to tears by bitterness, a piece of chocolate can always make us smile again. However, the problem is not completely solved. What is negative emotion? We should perhaps shape our mind to think about what positive emotion actually functions, or what leads to positive emotion. Fredrickson, the granddaddy of positive emotion, suggested in 2001 that positive emotion can enhance well-being. Seligman states that well-being is closely related to achievement. Achievement is also frequently mentioned in later scholarly discussion, and you can see it tightly combines with the accomplishment of goals. Finally, we can take a break. By summarizing and generalizing previous research, we have discovered the demotivating effect of positive emotion on negative emotion and the relationship between positive emotion and achievement. From this, we can define positive emotion in this way. Positive emotions are emotions that can dissipate negative emotion to some extent, enabling learners to gain more resources and eventually find a sense of achievement. At the same time, the achievement will in turn generate positive emotion. This may be a little bit abstract, so let's look at this example.
I'm so sorry, Flynn.
Eugene.
What?
My real name is Eugene Fitzherbert. Someone might as well know.
I have magic hair that glows when I sing.
What?
I have magic hair that glows when I sing. Flower gleam and glow, let your power shine.
see that Rapunzel was very frustrated at first, but when she realized that she could use her glowing hair as a light, she had hopes that she could escape, which not only relieved her positive emotion, but also made her push herself to remove the stones and ultimately complete her goal, escape. And the accomplishment of the escape goal further contributed to positive emotions such as pride and relief of both of them. You see, this is how positive emotions work, and it shows a little bit of what positive emotions really are.
Okay, so in math, our emotions are like a ship sailing in the ocean of life. The course and speed of the ship largely depends on our goals, just like the rules set by the captain. And next, I want to explore together how this emotional ship is guided by our goal and dreams. When a ship is sailing, it will be affected by wind and waves. So what factors will affect a ship with positive emotion while sailing? First, let's talk about the light horse, the goal. Have you ever had the experience of feeling excited and satisfied when you set a goal and work toward it? This is exactly what Professor Dweck described as mastery goal. Like a mountaineer walking step by step toward the summit, even small victory bring joy to him. And this sense of achievement comes from transcending oneself. Well, another type of goal, calling the performance goal, is like competing with opponent in a competition, trying to prove oneself is better than others. And this sense of achievement comes from surpassing others. Next, let's talk about the field of the emotion ship, ability. Imagine abilities are like toys in our hand. Dweck pointed out that people have different perceptions of their abilities. He divided the understandings of the abilities into growable and non-growable ability. It sounds difficult to understand, right? Actually, it's very simple. Some people believe that this toy can be honed through hard work. It's like practicing playing guitar. At first, fingers are clumsy, but after continuous practice, they can eventually play beautiful melody. But others believe that ability is nature and unchangeable trait. For instance, they believe that not everyone can become a musician. Based on that, Professor Yu divided the factors that affect our emotions into two categories, controllable and uncontrollable. Imagine that you can preparing for an important performance. When you can control your practice and preparation, but what you cannot control may be the weather of that day or the reactions of the audience. Well, in these stories, we discover two sources of emotions. One comes from the internal world that we can control, such as our efforts and pursuit of success. Another type of things come from the external world, such as unpredictable challenges and accidents. Well, let's take a close look at what internal and external factors are. First, let's talk about look at the controllable internal factors. These factors are like the oars on our ship. We can manipulate them through our own efforts. For example, when you decided to learn a new language, your efforts, perseverance, and abilities to adapt to learning method are all internal controllable factors. You can decide how long to study every day, which learning tools you can use, and how to deal with the challenges in the learning process. These are all the factors that you can control and have a positive impact on your emotion. On the other hand, external uncontrollable factors are like sudden storms that we cannot predict or control. For instance, you may encounter unexpected difficulties in learning a new language, such as sudden cancellations of the online courses or lack of learning resources. And these factors are external and beyond your control, and they may have a negative impact on your emotion, making you feel frustrated. Give a specific example. Suppose you are preparing an important speech. You have decided on the theme of your speech, preparing exciting contents, and even practice your speaking skills. These are all the internal controllable factors. However, on the day of the speech, there was a sudden power outage of audience response was not as enthusiasm as you expected, and these are external uncontrollable factors. Although these factors may affect your emotion, it's really important to recognize that some things are beyond your control. After understanding these two factors, we can better navigate our emotional journey and understand which things we can control and which things requires us to learn to accept it and adapt it.
So, what exactly is the role of controllable and uncontrollable factors in second language acquisition? Let's first look at uncontrollable factors. Uncontrollable factors are categorized into internal and external factors. Remember the case of the guitar? We mentioned that some people think that they are not born to be musicians. No matter how hard they try, it will never grow. This belongs to the uncontrollable factor. What Dweck mentioned, non-growable abilities. The belief that one's ability is already set in stone. Putting this theory in the field of second language acquisition, these children believe that the test scores have nothing to do with effort, physical condition, and so on. For example, even if they fail a test because of illness, these children will stubbornly believe that their IQ is not enough, and even if their grades improve because that they stayed up all night studying, they will first believe it is because they have an IQ of 180. This will cause the child to deny their own ability if they don't do well in the exam. And attributing the failure to external uncontrollable factors can lead to anxiety because the student is unable to control the storm of the emotional boat, like a noisy teacher, a neighbor shaking his legs. There is no way to change a bad external environment. In this case, even if the student does well on a test, he will think that it is because he was lucky to have good external circumstances. However, they will continue to feel anxious because there is no guarantee that they won't meet the leg-shaking neighbor next time. From this, we can see that attributing ability to uncontrollable factors, either internal or external, may lead to negative feelings in learning. So, what if the learners attribute the reason for the achievement to uncontrollable factors? When we pull out the music sheet and roll up our sleeves ready to practice a love song for our boyfriend or girlfriend, we are assuming that our control over the song can grow through effort. This is what Dweck refers to as the growable abilities. Children with this view believe that effort can increase their ability. Bad grades will not affect their competence in their abilities. It's okay, just study harder and your grades will be improved. As a result, these children become more confident and work harder at their studies. So, we can see that the learning experience has a lot to do with attributions for achievement, which in turn has a relationship with control, as Dweck's theory has already explained. And now let me introduce another theory, the control value theory. This theory states that positive emotions are related to self-control. The more control a child has, the more positive emotions they will have in learning language. The less control a child has, the more anxious they will be. Think about it. Why do we feel scared in a haunted house? Because all we are dealing with is the unknown and uncontrollable external factors. And why do we feel safe in our own house? Because most of what we are dealing with in our own house is familiar and controllable to ourselves. So, children who attribute success to uncontrollable factors are like entering a haunted house of learning. They don't know what kind of bad circumstances they will encounter, so they are cautious and fearful, and they become less and less confident in their learning. They feel that their IQ and learning ability are not as high as others and are uncontrollable. They will always fail whether they learn or not. In the long run, they will be so anxious that they may lose interest in language learning and even become disenchanted. The second type of child attributes achievement to controllable factors, recognizing the link between his own performance and the effort he has put in. When they fail in an exam, they attribute it to a lack of effort and thus put in more effort. It seems that it is more beneficial to attribute test scores to controllable factors. This may have some implications for teachers. When teacher guides the child through encouragement to attribute his or her outstanding performance to the child's own efforts, the child will feel a sense of pride when he or she is successful and will even look forward to the next performance, as he or she will again be successful in another exam and gain a sense of pride, which will create a positive feedback phenomenon in learning. Therefore, teachers should perhaps guide children to attribute their learning achievements to internal controllable factors such as their own efforts rather than external uncontrollable factors such as luck. This will not only bring about a positive feedback effect on the children's learning, but will also bring about a positive response to the child's physical and mental health, allowing the child to explore the fun in learning.
And that, my friends, brings us to the conclusion of our language learning journey. We've explored the fascinating world of emotions and how they impact our achievement in second language acquisition. But now, let's focus on a crucial question. How can we help Chinese language learners enhance their positive emotions to achieve greater success? As we said earlier, research by DeVille and McIntyre in 2014, along with a review of the control value theory, links second language acquisition to students' attributions to targets and in turn specifically classify the controllability and uncontrollability of attributions. And we summarize an approach that might be helpful for education through the review. That is, calls for teachers to guide learners in shifting their focus from uncontrollable external factors to controllable internal factors. In simplified terms, teachers need to help learners attribute their achievements to their own abilities and effort while attributing failures to the lack of effort rather than a lack of ability. Imagine you are learning a new language and you encounter a difficult task. Instead of getting discouraged and thinking, I'm just not good at this, you can adopt a more positive and empowering mindset. You can say to yourself, I may not have mastered it yet, but I'm capable for learning and improving through my hard work and dedication. It's all about fostering a positive emotion, where learners believe that their abilities and intelligence can be developed through effort and effective strategies. This shift in perspective empowers language learners to take control of their own progress and overcome obstacles with resilience. Language learning is not just about acquiring vocabulary or grammar rules. It's also about cultivating a positive and resilient emotion. So, let's embark on this exciting adventure together, where we embrace challenges, learning from our mistakes, and celebrate the joy of language acquisition. This is the end. Thank you for listening.